Afternoon. Welcome to the Thurston County Board of County Commissioners public hearing. It's 3:52 p.m. We're running late from our 3 p.m. schedule due to the 2 p.m. meeting. My name is Ty Menser, Chair of the Board of County Commissioners. To my left is Vice Chair Commissioner Gary Edwards. To my right is Commissioner Carolina Mejia. To her right is County Manager Amira Chavez and Clerk of the Board Amy Davis. We're here to discuss a development agreement with Kaufman Holdings, Inc. The purpose of the public hearing is to accept and consider public comment on the proposed development agreement between Thurston County and Kaufman Holdings, Inc. concerning lots 2 and 3 of short subdivision number SS2527 at 19635 Sergeant Road Southwest in the Grand Mound urban growth area. This is a hybrid public hearing. Those wishing to testify have joined in person, by Zoom, emailed in comment, or mailed in comment. If you wish to testify, please visit the Thurston County homepage online, select announcements of public hearings on the left-hand side. The information to join this public hearing remotely has been posted there. If you do not wish to testify but would like to listen and follow along, please watch the live stream through the county YouTube channel to help us manage attendance. Teresa Parsons, Engineering Project Manager, and Brett Burris, Building and Planning Manager, will provide information on this topic, background information. Assuming those on Zoom wish to testify, I will read your name aloud. I will read names on the sign-up sheet. You will have 4 minutes to testify. Time may not be given to another person. When you are called on, please state your name and address for the record. Public hearing is now open. Teresa and Brett will present background information, including a summary of any written comments submitted, and then additional comments as the board may request. I see Marcus as well. Between the three of you, you guys decide who's going first in terms of presenting the background.
I'll start, Commissioner Menser. Thank you. And as you noted, Marcus Starvik, our project manager on this project, is also in attendance. Thurston County Public Works and Community Planning and Economic Development Department are asking the Board of County Commissioners to consider approving a development agreement between Kaufman Holdings, Inc. and Thurston County concerning lots 2 and 3 of short subdivision number SS2527 at 19635 Sergeant Road Southwest in the Grand Mound urban growth area. Thurston County is planning to construct a roundabout at the intersection of US 12 and Sergeant Road Southwest to assist in providing safe and efficient access to homes and businesses, improve traffic flow for vehicles, and improve emergency access in the Grand Mound area. The improved traffic flow and emergency access will also benefit the Kaufman property. Marcus Storvik will give you a brief description of the project. Go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah, thank you, Teresa. The proposed roundabout is a single lane roundabout, and it's going to have the ability to have a full build out to 2 lanes, east and west, once the future needs arise. So this project, the designing, the permitting, right-of-way concerns, that all those impacts are fully considering the fact that we could have 2 lanes in the future.
Are you able to show them a picture?
Yeah, we can do that too. Is it visible?
Not yet.
No, you need to show your screen.
Yep. Looks like we're getting something.
Perfect.
There you go.
Perfect.
So currently right now, Sergeant Road does not intersect US 12. So we are proposing to construct a new intersection, which will be a single lane roundabout shown right here. As I was mentioning, it does have the option to have 2 lanes east and west once there's future needs identified. So the right-of-way impacts, permitting impacts, the design requirements are considering that fact for future needs. There is access provided to each of the property owners adjacent, Kaufman, 8 is Enough, Jorgensen, and the tribe, shown off of Sergeant Road. So this will also provide access for those property owners as part of this project. And I'll lead it back to Teresa.
Okay. Thank you, Marcus. So the project has been identified as a critical piece of infrastructure to help support development and emergency vehicle access in the Grand Mound area. And one of the issues has been the funding for the construction of this project. And so the county has been working with abutting property owners and stakeholders in the area to help fund with other sources that the county has put together for this project. And this one of the pieces is the Kaufman Inc. has proposed to contribute upfront their traffic impact fees that could be charged at the time of development. And this development agreement is the mechanism that would provide for the Kaufmans to pay the traffic impact fees in advance of permitting on the subject property. The amount of the traffic impact fee advance payment is $1,300,180 that will credit the Kaufman property with 319 vehicle trips. In addition, the agreement vests the property for 10 years in certain development standards that are applicable to the county's arterial commercial zoning district as identified in Thurston County Code, Chapter 20.25. And Brett will provide a little bit more detail.
Thank you, Teresa. Brett Burris, Building and Planning Manager for Community Planning and Economic Development. Teresa summarized it correctly. Within Chapter 2025, the agreement is to vest any potential future project within 10 years and then return the advance payment for the impact fees. The vesting applies to development standards as it relates to height, impervious surface, setbacks, so on and so forth. This is a common tool used in development agreements as it relates to subject matter such as this. And further, it gives the applicants or the potential applicants the ability to plan out a development that is consistent with the proposed project that is in accordance with the development agreement in general.
Thank you, Brett. The staff has not received any written comment on this development agreement. I believe Reed Wall is on this meeting. He is a representative for Kaufman and available for any comment if needed. The process is to hold this hearing, gather information and comment for the commissioners to take into consideration. After you close the hearing, then you have the ability to decide whether to enter into this agreement or not. If you decide to enter into the agreement, there's a resolution that's been provided that you would adopt, and that would give permission for the county to enter into the development agreement with Kaufman's.
Ready for questions? Okay. Commissioner Mejia, anything for the illustrious panel we have up here?
Not at this time.
Commissioner Edwards?
Yes, sir. Go ahead. How much is the state putting into this project? And I don't know who to address my question to, Marcus or Teresa, maybe, I don't know.
I can address that. The county manager has been in several conversations with the Department of Transportation, and our Director of Public Works has also communicated with the Department of Transportation. I'm going to call them WSDOT, Washington State Department of Transportation. They have come up against some hardships, and initially were in a favor of trying to financially support this project, but are in a position at this time to not be able to give any money. They do support the project itself.
Can other property owners that are possibly affected one way or the other, I suppose in a positive nature, in that close proximity, can those other property owners also participate in this program by paying maybe ahead some and maybe get the 10 years vesting as a benefit and help defer the cost and get the same benefit? So I don't know how far you'd go out. Would you go out a quarter mile or a half mile or a mile and ask property owners in that area to participate in the same fashion that this potential partnership that's being put together now? I think the tribe is involved, right?
That's
We've got
correct.
tribal folks, possibly going to have state folks, county money, Kaufman money. Do we have others yet? Or is this just a new thing? I mean, we've talked about it a couple times. It's been in front of us. You know, we've heard about this, but is it still growing? And is there benefit? Is there opportunity for others to participate in this program and get the same benefit in the end that Kaufman's might get? I don't even know what they're getting. Don't know what their holdings are. I'm just asking a question about fairness and such. You know, I mean, are we treating everybody kind of the same down there, giving them the benefit of the doubt?
So there were some stakeholder meetings that were started several years ago, led by the county manager, and invited property owners within the vicinity of the project just directly. And Kaufman's are the only ones that, as private landowners, not including the tribe, that were in a position to come forward with a development agreement. There's certain certain plans that they should be so far along with in order to make a development agreement worthy of their time. And other property owners weren't ready to enter into this type of agreement right now. The tribe did, if you recall, several weeks ago, we brought an amendment to the interlocal agreement with the Chehalis tribe, and they agreed to commit money, $800,000 to this project. And another property owner had expressed interest, but just isn't far enough along. There may be some time, but it's starting to get close to the end of the year, which is when we should have all of this funding tied up so that we can go to bid early next year. And so the opportunity is still there, but it's tight now.
So what's the total project technically? I mean, just roughly, what's it going to be as far as a cost? You know, if we were paying for this ourselves, how much would we end up paying to do this roundabout?
Yeah, from start to finish, and I mean from the very beginning, when we first started looking at a new access point onto US 12 when one didn't exist, there were some studies that had to be done and some hoops to jump through with DOT in order to be able to move forward. We're in the ballpark of $3.9 million.
Okay. I have to say, I'm interested in the concept of doing it, but I mean, when you talk about vested issues, I have to say, if I owned property down there, I'd want to get in on this. Just because I haven't seen government make life easier for investors to build into property by, you know, lessen restrictions. I just keep seeing it cost more to develop property as time goes on. Government, once it gets started, it never seems to quit draining. So from a fairness perspective, I'd want to make sure before we moved ahead with this that all the potential property owners were at least aware of this situation and given an opportunity. That's all.
County manager, sorry, hold on, Teresa, county manager.
So I can attest to the fact, as Teresa stated, this is a long journey. Really, I began these conversations almost 3.5 years ago. And when I invited to all the potential stakeholders, including all the property owners within the vicinity, And we went through and made the same offer to everyone who wanted to participate on this piece of infrastructure. And the Kaufman brothers took that as a good opportunity. We work on potential access to those properties they hold. Other properties participated even on the last few meetings, I believe, in the last 2-3 months. But unfortunately, they represent other holdings. They are not ready to commit at this point. If there's an opportunity, the option and the offer is still open to any other property owners who would like to take advantage of this situation. The result of that will be the county will pay a little less on the construction, and that is the end result. So I believe this is a great public, private, and tribal partnership. And I think we should continue to be inventive and looking for those opportunities as to how we can build infrastructure, not just benefit the general public, but also benefit the individuals who plan to develop within the vicinity of those improvements.
I do recall years back that you brought this to the board's attention, that you were working on this. So, yeah, I don't question that at all. I think probably it's all headed in the right direction for the right reasons. I'll just throw something out from a personal experience. I know somebody that got involved in a limited improvement district and paid a lot of money. I don't know, I think there was a couple $1 million spent on the project. And shortly thereafter, the government came along and said, well, what about this and what about that? And the cost of development went up about 10 times from what it was. So that's why I'm a little gun shy on just making sure that out of a fairness perspective that we do at least make it available to others. And I don't know, maybe there can be a latecomer process that's built into this, and we can have a continued benefit to the county and benefit to potential developers on this particular project. I think it's a great way to do business, public-private. But I just want to make sure that from a fairness perspective, we don't leave anybody out if there's any hope that they might want to participate. And maybe one other thing, I suppose there's a difference between property that fronts Sargent Road, for an example, as a beneficiary, as to maybe a back lot or back acreage. And if that, if there was something in there, is it so much an acre that you're getting a benefit from, or is it a footage, you know, to the road, frontage, property? How did you come up with the process? I don't want to use the scheme, I guess. It's not a scheme.
No, it's not a scheme.
No, it's not a scheme.
It is a partnership.
How did you come up with the partnership to decide the monetary contribution by property owners?
So as you heard, it was based on the traffic impact fees. So at this point, we made an assumption on a potential development by the Kaufmans. They're going to be generating a certain amount of traffic. So they have given credit for that number of traffic they could generate under this agreement. When they get to the point of actually proposing something in place, this agreement allows for that latitude to work, whether the initial investment meets the requirements of the traffic impact fees based on the new development, or there's an opportunity for adjustment, one way or the other. For the other property owners in the vicinity is the same concept. They will be bringing a proposal, and it will be assessed based on the traffic generation through the traffic impact fees, depending on the development. So there's really not a way that we can say just the Kaufman, they have 1,000 foot of frontage improvements. We don't go through that process. It's purely related to the impacts generated by that development on our traffic system. And the means and methods is the traffic impact fees.
Having not reviewed the legal document that might be associated with this, is there any way that, or any consideration for other property owners in the area that may have originally been offered this opportunity? Is there any way that we could put something in there so they could get the benefit of today's impact fees, maybe the vesting abilities if they wanted to buy into this, a latecomer process of some type. That's all I'm wondering about, if it's
Well,
something doable. We're not going to make a decision today, are we?
the option is for you to
Proposal
make a
was-
decision if you like.
we could.
That's the board's prerogative.
Oh, okay, I didn't know we were.
I thought, I heard the county manager say that a property owner could approach us with a latecomer process.
I don't know, I mean, it sounds like it.
And they can use this agreement as a model. So there's nothing preventing any new property owner who would like to exercise the same terms and conditions of this proposed agreement to go through the same process with the county.
Is there a proposed development already in the works? I mean, like I don't know, a new car dealership or so, I don't know. Is there already something kind of pending, or just any future development? Maybe housing, maybe.
Kaufman, you mean?
Yeah, I mean, is that a public issue that, I like to do things out in the open as much as I can. Maybe I'm asking a question that I shouldn't ask, I don't know.
You're asking a lot of questions. Hopefully we can provide the answers on the spot.
Okay,
But certainly there may be some assumptions about their potential development of those properties.
okay,
And those assumptions were based in coordination and in partnership with the Kaufman brothers. That was the result of assessing the traffic impact fees of those potential developments.
is
So,
that all done in public? I guess that's all. Is it behind the scenes, or is it?
well, I cannot attest to the business deals the Kaufman brothers do.
Well, no, I mean the development of a potential plan so that you can charge a fair rate.
Well, this is available to the public, this agreement.
Yeah, they could all do it, right?
It has been posted for the last 20 days.
Well, maybe
Get
he's
into
talking
this
about-
public hearing.
Maybe he's talking about I've seen the, whatever you call it, the rubric by which you look at the type of development and how you calculate, essentially the methodology for figuring out the number of trips that are expected by certain types of development.
That's the
Certain types of
traffic impact
activity,
fee.
right?
That's a public document.
Yeah, the traffic impact fee, that's the basis.
Well, I'm certainly not against something moving forward. I just would like.
We haven't had our public hearing yet, just to be,
We haven't had our public hearing yet?
not yet.
Haven't opened it
I
yet.
know, I'm just asking questions.
You're still asking
We're
questions.
going to have that public hearing in just a few minutes, right?
Yeah.
No, that's just a few questions that I have. I mean, I know this has been coming. It hasn't been on my immediate radar or anything, but I hope I'm asking questions for the fairness of the public.
I see another staff member, one of our attorneys who clicked her camera on. That sometimes means they have something to say. Karen, did you have anything
Okay,
you wanted to add?
let's hear it.
Hi, good morning, or good afternoon, Commissioners. Karen Horace, Deputy Prosecuting Attorney. I just wanted maybe to reiterate kind of what the county manager was saying in terms of the particular development agreement. It's a sort of statutory creature. It would be specifically between the county and the Kaufmans. So that particular agreement couldn't reference other potential, property owners or other people in the area. But as part of the negotiation and drafting process, as county staff, as legal staff worked on it, we recognize that this agreement may be something that other property owners, whether for this project or for future projects, might want to utilize something similar. And so the agreement was drafted with the idea that, future points, yet to be determined, we may be coming back with similar things, and this might be a model for future development agreements being entered. And then just to reiterate with it also is that, so Kaufman's provided kind of a proposed site plan. It's not a permit application or, definite document or anything like that in it, but it's sort of their concept of how they may be intending to develop the property later. And that's what was used in consultation with county staff to come up with the traffic impact fee prepayment amount. That's not ultimately a statement of what, traffic impact fees may be actually assessed at the time the property is developed, but it's sort of a best guess of what those anticipated fees might be in the future. So I hope that's helpful.
Yeah, what would happen if, I don't know, the economy turns upside down and for 10 years, nobody can do anything? Have a die-off from a virus or something. I don't know what it might happen, but you never know. What happens to that money that's paid in? Would they get that back then if they can't use it, or this is just an investment into a roundabout and that's it?
So they maintain the credit for 20 years. So they have 20 years. They're not vested for 20 years, but they would maintain the credit for 20 years. So they have that much time to develop their property and make use of the credit for impact fees that they have at that point. There was quite a bit of negotiation back and forth on this, and a lot of, I think, concern about kind of those what if possibilities, right? What if we can't develop the roundabout, or what if Kaufman doesn't develop, and what happens in those various situations. So in sort of broad terms, generally, once the county has expended the money, because we've used it for construction, then at that point, the Kaufmans don't have a way to get strictly a monetary refund, but they would maintain that credit for, again, 20 years to give them time to develop their property.
Is there a possibility that latecomers could also get in on this at a later date? Like, I don't know, next month, they see it's a good deal. Finally, everything's kind of public. How did this happen? And word gets out. I don't know anything about the process and how many people were talked to. I take the county manager at his word that everybody was notified, but that's over the last 2-3 years.
I didn't say everybody. I think everyone within the vicinity.
Oh, okay. Well, those that may be affected, is there going to be a mechanism so other property owners could get a similar benefit? That's the only thing I'm looking for, is fairness.
So if they wanted to do sort of the same process, it would look like the same process for them. It would have to be a new development agreement. This one could be used as a model, but they would have to go through, again, that statutory process again. So there would have to be, a new public hearing to address it with them. It would have to go through.
Would there have to be like a 3.5-year bureaucratic process that has led up to this? They'd have to go through all that then to get to that benefit point that they have?
I imagine maybe I'm not the best person to answer this, but I imagine their process, if they were wanting to do that, would be faster, because we have this agreement now as sort of a model for what's being looked at.
Yeah, the hard work has been done.
This is a matter of mutual consent, right? Both sides see a value to what they're trying to do, and this agreement doesn't have to happen. It's only happening because both sides see it in their mutual advantage.
I agree with you. I think it looks like a good deal on the surface. I just want to make sure other property owners can take advantage of it, should they want to. Say in the next 5 years or something, put a clause in there that they could buy in, and they'd have to pay their fair share as well. And maybe the roundabout would be all paid for. I don't know if we're bonding for the roundabout, so maybe we'd pay it off early, or maybe we would just widen the road, 93rd or something. I don't know what we'd do, but I certainly like to see fairness spread around the community as far as it can go.
Fairness applies, but as Karen stated, it will not be appropriate to add language on this agreement to include other parties. Other than the county and the Kaufman brothers.
Okay.
So it will be inappropriate for us to add language for any potential third party who take advantage of this agreement.
Okay. Are we ready for the public testimony?
I guess so.
Okay, I see on the Zoom one name I don't know. Rosie? Is that a...
Yes, hi there. I'm Rosie Bolins. I'm actually an attorney with Phillips Burgess, and we are representing the Kaufmans, so I am only here to listen at this point. So I have no public comments.
Thank you, Rosie. Sign up is John Pettit. You're up. I know the rules. Yeah, you do.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is John Pettit. I live out off of Rich Road, and I've had occasion to work with Mr. Reed from Kaufman, so I work with them some. So I have concerns, and this has to do with that. Perhaps even the same thing Mr. Edwards is talking about a little bit. Essentially, the purchase of the transportation benefit, transportation impact fee. What you're selling is essentially a lot of fee established at current rates. The rate structure is scheduled to change in about a month and a half, and if I went to those month and a half rate structure later on, it would go up $278,870. Now, I personally am absolutely opposed to traffic impact fees anyway on this, and I would even question. Example, one of the projects that's suggested is maybe doctor's offices or other such things there in that location. Well, if they actually provide a service locally, it's actually cutting down a lot of traffic across the county to have to get to some other services. So we're charging the people who are going to provide something for a local aspect, we're going to charge them on top of the fact that they're providing a service which cuts back on traffic. So obviously I'm opposed to traffic impact fees to begin with. And if you, instead of discounting it 50%, let's say you end up discounting it 60% from the recommended number, I don't think Kaufman's would be very happy knowing that they've overpaid for those traffic impact fees either. So it's a real dilemma because I happen to know them to be one of the most credible companies in the Northwest up here in this area, extremely credible, but having an equivalence for the benefit to what's happening there. This roundabout is much more than just about the Kaufman's property. And I think there was a couple things taken out of context by the county in their approach on this. One is that the basic rule for impact fees are, number one, first money in, first money out. Impact fees in themselves must be used by all the ones that are already collected there from the previous time, not just we're going to throw this money in and so that's automatically creates our project first. It doesn't happen that way. That money doesn't go away, and you have to assign it on a first in, first out basis, and it's done through a regional area. Surprisingly enough, I think my property there at the ranch actually extends clear down into that south segment. So while I'm very supportive of anything that may provide some extra benefit to the people down there, I think that there may be another option that might have been better considered. It's a provision under the state law that basically for doing a project or for doing a particular project, such as improving, when you do a development, sometimes they'll require a development improvement on the main road area, that you can in turn just give credit towards future traffic impact fees that occur. Then it wouldn't be a collectible item back based upon an item which by law, if they aren't used for some reason, they get to refund them. They get to pull them back out. So you might receive $1.3 million here, but you might have to give it back. And you don't want to have to give it back if they're at the top of the realm of impact fees. You don't want to have to go that route on it. So I think there's a little more consideration you might want to think about. I support the Kaufmans. I prefer no impact fees. I hope that you kind of take the full round picture of it and realize the benefit a development does for a community like that to provide them services. So maybe a in-place improvement is a better fee for eliminating traffic impact fees from a property than to do the opposite, which is we'll give you an impact fee and maybe you'll use it someday. It's like a prepaid thing. The rich people can afford it, the others can't. Thank you.
Thank you.
You go to the Zoom.
I think we did the Zoom. Could I ask?
No, I think we have Mr. Reed Wall to provide testimony.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
Yep. Reed Wall with Kaufman Construction here.
Go ahead, sir. You have 4 minutes.
So just to respond to John there.
No, if you'd like to provide testimony, please don't
Okay.
feel the urge to
Yeah,
respond.
so, I mean, the way we look at it, we're willing to, we've been more than willing to share the agreement with anybody else that would like to utilize that. I guess this property, it was a benefit to us to look at it as doing this agreement in the sense that it benefit both the county and Kaufman's, in the sense that the county would get the money up front. It would create better access to the property, which would then lead to development. And really, that's just the way we view it. I'd have to look at what John was going into a little further and dig into that before I was to make a decision. But anyway, that's Kaufman's response to that.
Okay.
Let me check For those members of the public who have joined us via conference call this afternoon, if you'd like to provide public testimony on this public hearing item, please unmute yourself, introduce your name, where you reside in the county. You have 4 minutes. Answer.
Okay, very good. At this point, is there further discussion among the board before we close public hearing?
I do have some personal experience with limited improvement districts, and how government had an adverse effect on it, and that's why I'm so concerned about it.
Okay.
No, I don't think I have any more questions.
Motion to close the public hearing?
I would move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Call for the vote.
Commissioner Mejia,
Aye.
Commissioner Edwards, Commissioner Menzer.
Aye, motion carries. Public hearing is closed, and it's the board's pleasure to bring this back at a later time. Sounds like that's your
Well,
preference.
that would be my preference, to bring it back at a later time.
I think I would agree with you. I have a couple of questions based on what I heard today that I'd like to just look at. Is that okay with you, Commissioner?
Yes.
County Manager, can we have this at a not too distant future?
Yeah, I will bring this in 2 weeks. In the meantime, if you have any questions, please let me know.
Will do. Sounds good. We're adjourned. Thank you,
Thank you.
everybody, for participating today.